When you receive your deactivation pad, you'll need to undo the cords and stretch them out. If your power pad is too close to your power box, it will cause a false alarm. So stretch those out and get them kind of far away. There's also a power plug-in that needs to be plugged in. And once that's done, your power box stays underneath the counter. The on-off switch right here. Lights will tell you if you've got it turned on. If your unit is a beeping unit, it will actually have a beeper inset right here. You'll see a hole. It looks like a little round beeper. If you see no hole, it's just it's capped over. You don't have a beeper. Now, beepers can sometimes be put onto boxes that don't have beepers. You'll just need to call, ask for tech support, and we'll help you with that if you need to add a beeper to your particular deactivation pad. Using your deactivation pad, the paper labels will deactivate 8 to 10 inches above the pad in that airspace. So just take your garment or item that you have the paper label on, scan it across that airspace. Now be careful because it will also deactivate paper labels 8 to 12 inches below the pad. So don't ever put paper labels on a shelf beneath your deactivation pad or you'll kill the whole roll. It's best to keep those separately in the office, rolled up in aluminum foil. That will keep them fresh for you. A whole roll of labels can be deactivated by your deactivation unit if you place it above or below the deactivation pad, but it will not ring your tower because one label will block the other from ringing the tower. So if they come in with a UPS label, or mail label roll in a package, it will not ring your system because one label will block the next. Now inside, I don't know if you can see it on this unit, there will be something that tells you the quantity on the roll. And it'll also be marked, the D will be marked for deactivatable as opposed to the ND, which means non-deactivatable. And the paper label size is also marked. Sometimes they'll also mark how many bad circuits are on the roll. They do not count the bad circuits on your roll as part of your roll count. So sometimes the rolls will look a little bigger or a little smaller. If you have a bad label and it's a blank label, it will have a black line across it. If it's a bar-coded label, it will have a red dot somewhere on the label. Be sure to not use those. They are out of frequency and may not ring your system. You may also have what's called a standalone pad. The electronics for this pad are actually inside the pad, so there's no external box, just a plug-in. If this fails to work at some point in time, generally it's the electronics in the plug that go bad after a few years, and that can be unplugged right here at the back by using the small hole here, and you shoot a paper clip in there and that'll pull the plug out. Looks like a telephone plug in there. And we can order that as a replacement part if for some reason your deactivation pad fails on you after a few years. So don't ever throw them away. If they're not working, just call technical support. We can help you to get them back up and running. This is what the front of a non-beeping power box looks like. As you can see here, there is a cover instead of a beeper. Now sometimes a beeper can be added to those. Again, if you want a beeping deactivation pad, you just need to call, ask for technical support, and they can help you with if you have something that can be changed over. The other thing that happens is sometimes the wires that go into the back of your unit will wiggle loose during transit. They are to be placed in the first and the third hole, or if those screws for some reason won't stay tight, you can go in the fourth and the sixth hole, going from left to right. It does not matter which one's the white one, which one's the black wire. It's just creating a continuous loop. So first and third, or fourth and sixth. You may also get an under-the-counter deactivation pad. And the guts kind of look like the other ones. However, the pad itself can be mounted underneath your counter using a set of screws in the designated holes. This will deactivate up through your counter, remembering you've got 8 to 12 inches of deactivation space, so if your counter is an inch thick, you're going to get a loss of about an inch or so. But that way, it won't take up any space on your counter at all. Now your counter cannot have any metal in it or on top of it. Like if you have a wooden counter that has a metal inlay on top of it, that won't work. But if you have an all wooden counter, an all ceramic counter, and all anything but metal type counter, you can use these under counter mounts. They can also be used using double sticky tape on this ridge here and just pressing them up underneath your counter. And then of course extending your wires, getting your power supply at least 3 or 4 feet away from the deactivation pad itself, plugging in your power cord, and you're ready to rock. You may also have a Sensormatic deactivation pad. They come in various sizes and shapes, but usually there's a power box that plugs in and a power pad. And again, they deactivate above the power pad itself, usually 6 or 8 inches. There's also a standalone that plugs in by itself. It just depends on which one that we were able to get a hold of at the time you ordered.